What is up, everybody? Jack Drees here. It is time for another Blu-ray collection video. By the way, this is a Blu-ray movie collection. There will be no TV shows. First off, for those of you who follow me on Seen Before, otherwise known as flicknerd.com, that is FLICKNERD.com. I have officially reached 700 posts on the blog. Every 100 posts now I will do a movie collection, so this is an appropriate addition to the blog at this time. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, welcome to another collection video. I always enjoy doing these, and I rarely post on my channel, but this is one thing I will enjoy doing from time to time. So let's get started. We have a lot of movies to cover. I bought a lot more movies than I would like to admit over the period since the last time I did this. And out of the many movies that I bought, I can't say I've watched many of them because I've been catching up on other movies I watched that I haven't watched before the other collection video. But I don't know, that's just a collector's mentality. But let's get started. Let's stop dilly-dallying, let's stop wasting time. But first off, we have three movies that I like to go over first as I wreck this pile over here. Let me fix that. We have three movies I'd like to go over. These are my most recent additions to the collection. I'd like to, first off, shout out my friend Nick. He just gave me a couple Christmas gifts today. Recording this on December 14th, by the way. Could be into December 15th. Right now it's 10:55. But he gave me a couple movies. He gave me Aquila and the Bee, which I did see part of. I did not see this, well, you can see it's still in the wrap, but I saw it on cable. I saw part of it. I wanted to see the rest of it. I liked what I saw. Also, Lightyear. Lightyear, this is a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook. My friend Nick got this on eBay for me, so thank you, Nick. And I don't think it's as good as the Toy Story movies, but I actually like that movie more than most people. I had a good time with it. And lastly, for the recent additions, we have The Color Purple. It comes with the Warner Brothers 100 slipcover. I have not seen the original film. I plan to at some point. Who knows when I'll get around to it. Can't go wrong with Spielberg. But those are the recent additions. Let's dive into the next portion of the collection now. Let's see which power to start with. I don't even know. So we can pick from. Let's start here. So we're going to start with Nerve. I like this movie. It stars Emma Roberts, Dave Franco, Gangster Squad. I'm not going to recommend this one. It's kind of boring. I just watched this recently, Bottle Rocket. It's directed by Wes Anderson. It's his first film. This is the Criterion edition. It's kind of a fun watch. I recommend it. Up next we have The Judge, starring Robert Downey Jr. We have the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End triple pack, Green Lantern, Battle Los Angeles, Tammy, Overlord, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. I thought this was a decent watch. Spotlight. I watched this in college, my senior year of college with my class, and I had the privilege of watching it with someone who actually used to work for the Boston Globe. Moving on, we have the Blade trilogy. Judy, The Farewell, excellent flick, highly recommend. I think it's Awkwafina's best film. One of the best A24 films as well. Big Lebowski, Jackie, The Artist. This is the Best Picture winner for the 2011-2012 Oscars. I don't know how you separate these years. But basically, black and white movie. I had a really good time with it. I like the concept. Friends with Benefits. This is kind of cute. It's a kind of a cute movie. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. November Man. Never forget that one. Fanboys. Star Wars prequels. We have the 4K for Revenge of the Sith. We have the 4K for Solo, a Star Wars story. 4K Steelbook, that is, actually. Speaking of Steelbooks, we have the Blu-ray 3D Steelbook. Best Buy exclusive for Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Star Wars A New Hope. The Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. Star Wars The Force Awakens. I bought this on my Black Friday video a couple years ago. And I put in the disc, tried to watch the movie, and it skipped it a couple parts, including a key part at the end. I don't know if it's my player or if it's a disc. I gotta test it on my PS5 and see if it's just the player. Speaking of, I still have the Steelbook for The Force Awakens. This is the first Steelbook I ever bought. I have the Steelbook, 4K Steelbook for The Last Jedi, and the 4K Steelbook for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. As much as people will talk crap about this movie, I will admit this is probably one of the best looking Steelbooks I've ever seen in my life. Rocky Horror Picture Show, Dances with Wolves. This next movie matches my shirt. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You lose! Good day, sir! Pompeii, The Sixth Sense, Fatal Attraction, 2010, the year we made contact, 2001: A Space Odyssey, excellent flick, highly recommend. One of my favorite science fiction films of all time. The Shining, Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, Edge of Tomorrow, War of the Worlds. I watched this recently. It's got its moments, I guess. Jack Reacher also kind of has its moments. When it comes to Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, I think their better movies are the Mission Impossible installments. Jack Reacher, it's okay. I didn't see this film yet. Jack Reacher Never Go Back. I had the Blu-ray edition, which was missing the DVD. This one I actually picked up for $5. Look at that. I found it at a store that sells a ton of huge stuff in New Hampshire. I might do a video on it one day. It's called Your Movie Warehouse. Shout out to the store, by the way. They do a really good business over there. Minority Report. It's alright. Not a bad little flick. Last Samurai. Risky Business. My favorite of the Tom Cruise movies that he's done. It's also one of his earliest. I got a triple feature with Tom Cruise, Collateral, Days of Thunder, and The Firm. I saw 2 out of 3 of these movies. Saw this one, Days of Thunder. It's good. The Firm, not so good. Oblivion. That was alright. Alright little sci-fi flick. Although the end kind of bored me. A Few Good Men, American Made. Pearl. I've seen this film twice. I didn't see it in the theater, but I did see it on home video twice. It's excellent. This is honestly one of the best horror flicks that has come out in recent years. 2022, if you read my reviews on Seen Before, you'd probably know that horror was probably the genre for me that year that dominated in every single capacity. And just when I thought my movie watching experiences could not get any better, this movie comes along and slays the competition. It's perfect. Speaking of, we have X here, which I liked. I don't think it's as good as Pearl. I think maybe Pearl is a little more my style, but I do like how this movie kind of goes for some edgy scenes. It's a pretty well done flick. Also, Mia Goth is great in both movies. American Hustle. Whoa, don't want to do that. All Eyes on Me. A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the 2010 remake. Silence of the Lambs. X-Men. X2. X-Men United. Deadpool. This is the Christmas edition slipcover, which includes the regular edition of the film. Iron Man 2. Incredible Hulk. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Excellent film, by the way. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. My least favorite of the Guardians of the Galaxy titles. And my favorite of the Guardians of the Galaxy titles, the original Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the 3D edition. Also, signed by Michael Rooker. Avengers Age of Ultron, the original Avengers. Captain America, the First Avenger. Captain America the Winter Soldier. Captain America Civil War. Spider-Man Homecoming. Doctor Strange. Thor, the original. I think it's my favorite of the Thor films. Thor: The Dark World, my least favorite of the Thor films, and my least favorite of the MCU titles. It's my least favorite title in the MCU. Thor: Ragnarok. I liked it. I think Taika Waititi's humor is a little too far at times, but there's a lot of jokes that do land in the movie for me. Ant-Man, the original. Honestly, the most underrated of the MCU movies. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I wasn't in love with this film, but it does have its moments, I guess. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I liked it. I kind of liked how they went in a different direction than the other 2 Ant-Man films. Like, just trying something different. It worked for me. I think some of the visual effects are a little off and on, I guess. MODOK looked terrible. But the movie's actually not that bad. I liked it. Also, Catherine Newton's pretty good in it. Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Black Panther, the original. Live Free or Die Hard. The Crow. Love, Simon. The Hate You Give. One of my more recent pickups, Oppenheimer. I've still yet to take it out of the wrap, but I do plan to watch this at some point when I have 3 hours to spare. Lost Boys. I picked this up at Barnes & Noble for $5. According to the sticker, $4.99 really. A little Criterion I picked up from the recent sale. Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Fred Claus. Ocean's 8. Citizen Kane. The 4K. Hitman's Bodyguard. A Knight's Tale. All the Money in the World. Spinning Gold. Night Shift. One of my more recent pickups. The Covenant. Cobweb. The Flash. I picked this up in my Black Friday video, the one I did recently. This was a free pickup at Target. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Rebel Without a Cause. Foxcatcher. Miracle on 34th Street. No Hard Feelings. I really enjoyed this flick. It was one of the better comedies I've seen in recent years. Jennifer Lawrence is really good in it, and also Andrew Barthelman is pretty good in it too. Terminal. Queen of Kotway. Ocean's 12. Marlowe. 999. Ocean's 11. And Ocean's 13. I showed those Ocean's movies in a little bit out of order. No Bears. Up next, one of my most prized Blu-ray possessions, we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is a collection including the original editions of the films and the extended versions. Basically, yeah, this is almost like a book, basically. You look inside, we got a little map, and we get the One Ring inside. Look at that. The Man Who Fell to Earth, Falling Down. My dad recommends this movie. I've yet to get around to it. I'll probably watch it for him one day. All right, Kira Kurosawa's Ran. Godfather trilogy. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation Steelbook. I had the Blu-ray. I just upgraded this. Mission Impossible Fallout Steelbook. Hobbs and Shaw on Steelbook. Free Guy. We have Old from M. Night Shyamalan. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Clerks 3. This is my favorite of the Clerks movies, to be honest with you. Wayne's World. Back to Tom Cruise again. We have Top Gun Maverick. The sound mix on this movie is one of the best I have ever heard. Reservoir Dogs, early film from Quentin Tarantino. Definitely a recommendation. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I had the regular 4K for a little bit. I watched it. My friend Nick gave me this as a birthday gift one year. It's the Target exclusive Steelbook. Catch Me If You Can. Get a little flick from Steven Spielberg. Speaking of Steven Spielberg, we have one of my favorite films of his, West Side Story from 2021. Jaws. Schindler's List. Moving on to some Pixar titles, we have The Incredibles. Oh, by the way, this was signed by Jason Lee, who played Syndrome in the movie. I'll tell you a little story. I met him at Rhode Island Comic Con, and I don't think he knew what a Steelbook was, because I showed him this, and we said hi, that sort of thing. First thing he did was, it's like just almost like, a little touch test, basically. I don't think he ever saw a Steelbook before. And it was also his first convention, too. Moving on, we have Inside Out, one of my favorite Pixar movies. Love the ending, by the way. Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory. I did see this in the theater one time. It was really good. Turning Red. I am one of the rare individuals who actually got to see this in a movie theater. I know it's coming back to theaters. Well, coming to theaters, really. But I was in LA, and I saw this at the El Capitan on Hollywood Boulevard. The climax there was excellent. Toy Story, the original, A Bug's Life. Incredibles 2, Target exclusive. Onward. I got this on clearance at Target. Toy Story 4, Target exclusive. I got this at Newbury Comics. Mulan. This is the animated version. I don't care about the live action version myself, but yeah, whatevs. Raya and the Last Dragon, Target exclusive, which is kind of a ripoff, if you ask me. I think I explained that in another video. But the movie's excellent. I'll recommend the movie for sure. Moving on, we have another set of movies right over here. Empire of Light. This was shot by Roger Deakins, one of the best cinematographers working in industry today. I highly recommend the movie. It's a pretty nice little flick. I like the characters in it. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. This might be an unpopular opinion. I think it's the best of the How to Train Your Dragon movies. It's my personal favorites. How to Train Your Dragon, the original. Patriot Games. Mulholland Drive. Fast and Furious collection. This is 1 through 8, by the way. I do not have 10. Screw that movie. Nobody. Pretty good little action flick starring Bob Odenkirk. Tar. Kate Blanchett is excellent in this. Promising Young Woman. Pretty good movie. I saw it in the theater one time. It was excellent. Marrowbone. 12 Strong. Spring Breakers. This film is kind of trippy. It's one of A24's earlier films. Honestly, not one of their best. Jungle Book, live action remake. 4 Good Days. Unsane. Game Night. No Time to Die. Dune, excellent film. I cannot wait for the sequel. Moving on to Bombshell. This is a really good film. I thought the cast was great between Margot Robbie, Nicole Kidman, all those people. Nija, I think that's how you pronounce it. Matrix Trilogy. I think the first one's the best. And the sequels, let's just say 2 and 3, they're okay, I guess. They fall for the bigger is better trope, and that's how they fail, basically. Knives Out, Fool's Paradise, Pariah. Look at this sticker. I still have yet to unwrap this, but I got this for $1 at FYE. I was in Florida, and they had this for $1 at FYE. The Lighthouse. This movie was it was insane. I always love going to YouTube and searching the one clip of this movie where Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe's characters are dancing like absolute maniacs, and you just hear Robert Pattinson singing this old-timey song. Come on, you boys, we wish to hear how we got to the woods last year. I can't do it justice. It's ridiculous. Got a couple criterions. We have Raging Bull, Hollywood Shuffle, The Virgin Spring. I found this at a Savers. Or guess how much? $2.99. What could be better? The Way, Way Back. I watched this a couple times. Really cool, coming of age, slice of lifestyle kind of film. I really like the main character. Steve Carell's good in it. Toni Collette's pretty good in it. Also features a water park I've been to when I was 9. Water Whiz, which is also in the movie Grown Us, but I think this is a much better film. Night School, Trouble with the Curve, A Royal Affair, Year One, Ambulance. That's what I have to say about that movie. The Power of the Dog, Heat, 355, kind of bland, not that great of a film, terrible dialogue. Perfect Blue, Breaking. John Boyega is really good in this film. Moving on to my Studio Ghibli G-Kids Steelbooks. We have Only Yesterday. I watched the English dub for this. Daisy Ridley does a voice in it. Really well done coming of age film. The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. I think that's how you say it. The Cat Returns. I want to watch this at some point. This is one of the Studio Ghibli flicks I've yet to get around to. Peter Boyle has a voice in the English dub. For those of you who don't know Peter Boyle, he is the dad in Everybody Loves Raymond. Or to say Ray's dad, Frank. The Secret World of Arrietty. This was actually a pretty cool film. It's I forget what it's based on. Oh, here we go. The description says it's an adaptation of The Borrowers. It's a really cool concept. Like a bunch of tiny people just basically taking stuff from, I guess, people's homes. Really cool concept. I liked it. It was a pretty cool film. Kiki's Delivery Service. I went to go see The Boy and the Heron in the theater recently, and they were playing the score for this film. It's a kind of an innocent, cute little film, and I like the score in it too. Moving on to what I think might be Miyazaki's best work, The Wind Rises. The characters in this film have excellent chemistry. I highly recommend this film just for that alone. Up next we have Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind from Up on Poppy Hill. Porco Rosso. Speaking of Everybody Loves Raymond, Brad Garrett has a voice in this, and I think as cool as these dubs are, one of the more, I guess you could say, distracting things in it is hearing people you know in such a weird context. It was really funny to hear Brad Garrett just screaming at the top of his lungs in this film. I mean, yeah, I've heard him do voiceovers before, like in Ratatouille, Kung Fu Panda 2. But here, it was just like, okay, settle down. Settle down, Robert. Settle down, Robert Barone. Castle in the Sky, I've had to watch that one. Whisper of the Heart, you have to watch that one. Oh, actually, you know what? I take that back. This is probably my favorite film from Miyazaki. It's one of his least complicated films, but I enjoyed it. Ponyo. It was a very simple story, but I don't think it could have been done any better. I had my intention the entire time. They did a really good job with it. Moving on to Belle, the Steelbook. I still have the Steelbook, even though I have a 4K edition in my pile somewhere. I'll get to that eventually. Probably my favorite film of the decade. And I go into my love for it in the last collection. I'm not going to do it this time around. One of my upgrades recently, Nightmare Before Christmas, I had the Blu-ray. I just upgraded to 4K. This is the Disney 100 Steelbook. I know Disney came out with a bunch of these Best Buy exclusive Steelbooks recently. This is the only one I own, and I don't really care about buying the other ones, to be frank with you. By the way, Nightmare Before Christmas, excellent movie, good Halloween movie, good Christmas movie, and I'd argue, great Thanksgiving movie as well. You can watch it in between those holidays. John Wick Chapter 4, my favorite of the John Wick franchise. Yeah. Mallrats. Jaws 2, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, Night and Day, The Invisible Woman, Mildred Pierce, Mississippi Masala. That doesn't sound good. Halloween, the original. One of my favorite movies of the year, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This might end up being my favorite film of 2023. Godzilla Minus One is creeping up there, though. I don't know which one's better. I might watch this one more time, just to be sure. But plain and simple, it takes everything that's good about the original movie and improves on it. Miguel O'Hara is a great antagonist of sorts, so is Spot. Gwen's arc in the film is excellent. The animation styles are top-notch. Every single second of this film slaps. I highly recommend Across the Spider-Verse. Men, Millennium Actress. This is, I can't see the title. Oh, this is a long one. Literally, it's a long one. Rainer Warner Fastbinder said, 8 hours don't make a day. 8 hours don't make a day. Want to know how long this movie is? I'll give you 5 seconds. Time's up. 495 minutes. 8 hours and 15 minutes. Young Adults. Prince of Egypt. The Informant. Here Comes the Boom. Up in the Air. Bridesmaids. Blitz. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. I don't love this movie, but this is the IMAX edition. This is the version that they'll show with the IMAX enhanced scenes. So, I don't know. I thought it was a cool pickup. Plus, it was only $3 at Goodwill. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The Gambler. Drive. Hereditary. Selma. Ford v Ferrari. Green Zone. The Monuments Men. Elysium. The Man with the Iron Fists. The Nice Guys. Two Guns. Machete. Limitless. Broken City. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. 310 to Yuma. Dallas Buyers Club. 12 Years a Slave. Fight Club. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. A lot of good performances in this movie. Shape of Water. One of the best films of 2017. This won Best Picture, and it's deserving of that position, to be frank with you. By the way, we had The Post, also a good movie from 2017, directed by Steven Spielberg. It's actually amazing how quick he'll release his movies and like finish them. He'll literally be busy promoting Ready Player One. Meanwhile, he has time to make something like this, like The Post, a much smaller film. By the way, Tom Hanks is good in it. Meryl Streep is good in it. Very quickly paced film as well. I was checking how long we were in the film. At a certain point, I clicked the little display button on my remote. I was like, wow, we're already 47 minutes in? This thing's flying by. It's a really good film. Hell or High Water. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Birdman. Really well shot film. Black Swan. Platoon. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. The original Paul Blart Mall Cop. Dogma. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I actually got a copy of Dogma. This is a pretty rare film to find. There was a day, like, if you guys remember, I did a video at the Bull Moose in Bedford, Maine. Once I finished that, I went a little further north and visited a couple more stores. That's where I got the Paul Blart Mall Cop copy. I also got this. I cannot believe I found this. By the way, it's a pretty good movie. I got it for $27.97. If I go on eBay, I'd probably find it for varying prices, sometimes a little more. The one thing I will say, though, not in the best condition. Disc plays excellently, though, I'll say that. So yeah, one of the rarer Blu-rays I own, so that's pretty cool. Up next we have Flights. Kind of mediocre, if you ask me. I might sell that at some point, I don't know. Hunter Killer, Captain Phillips, Drillbit Taylor, followed by Run Fat Boy Run, The Dictator, The Internship. This does not have a Blu-ray disc in it. I don't know why I'm including it in this video. It only has the DVD disc. One of the disadvantages of buying movies used. Step Brothers, The Intern. This is a pretty cute little film. Anne Hathaway's pretty good in it. So is Robert De Niro. I like their chemistry together. The Jerk, very funny movie. Steve Martin's great in it. Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. The Change Up, Horrible Bosses. The Campaign, it almost passes mediocrity. Hall Pass, speaking of mediocre. Caddyshack, a lot of great lines in that film. I do recommend it if you're in need of a comedy fix. Bulletproof, Say Anything. It's one of my mom's favorite movies. Better Off Dead, $2. Cash. One Crazy Summer. I just watched this last year. I rewatched it again with my dad. I showed it to him. Based on what I've heard from him, he might have seen it. But I love this film so much. There's a segment in it, I probably explained this in my last collection video, where this guy is so obsessed with this lottery contest on the radio, and he just wants to win $1 million. It's his unlikely dream, and the way that is handled is one of the so stupid, it's funniest things. It has even a proper adjective that I have ever seen in my life. It's so ridiculously funny. It's awesome. Next we have The Edge of 17. Really good coming of age movie starring Haley Steinfeld. The Girl Next Door. Superbad. American Pie, 4-movie collection. I think the second movie in that quadrilogy is the best one. The first one's okay, but I didn't love the characters as much as I wanted to. Third one's pretty good. Fourth one sucked. Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds, really good comedy that I've watched time and time again. Easy A, Zombieland, also pretty good comedy. Blazing Saddles, Sausage Party, very raunchy movie. National Security, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, might be the best of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, by the way. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End, probably my second favorite of the franchise. Pirates of the Caribbean, On the Stranger Tides, this is the 3D edition of the film. I think last video I had Dead Man Tell No Tales, but I got rid of it. Didn't care for it. I do have the digital code though, so there's that. Rocky. Moving on, we have Penguins of Madagascar, the movie. Don't Breathe. Insomnia. Time Bandits. It's one of my dad's favorite films. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. The Amazing Spider-Man, my first Blu-ray. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. As much as I love Across the Spider-Verse, this is also an excellent film. I do think the sequel's better, though. Man of Steel. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Suicide Squad. Wonder Woman. Justice League. This is the original version. The Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Aquaman. Shazam. Birds of Prey. The weakest of the DCEU movies, Wonder Woman 1984, which is really ironic because for a long time I thought the original Wonder Woman was the strongest. But we did get the strongest one fairly recently, the Suicide Squad, which Michael Rooker ended up signing this one. I don't know if you can see the signature up above. Yeah, it's signed in blue. I don't know, I think it's kind of neat. Black Adam. Next up we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Hotel Artemis. Carrie, The King's Speech. Grudge Match. Far and Away. Jarhead, The Fighter. Die in a Gunfight. Snitch. Moving on to one of my favorite Pixar movies. I rewatched this a little over a year ago. I forgot how good it was. WALL-E. This is an excellent movie. Basically, like, I know a lot of movies will try to predict a depressing future. This is one I feel like we are heading towards. This world is getting dumber, it's getting fatter, it's getting lazier, and we are relying on giant companies to keep us sane. There's a lot of truth to WALL-E, and I think that's one reason why it's going to probably continue getting some watches for me over the years. Right now we have Flea, the Bourne series, Some of All Fears, The Forgiven. Watched it once, it was alright, I guess. Sound of Metal, excellent film, by the way. Lost Highway, RBG, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Chasing Mavericks, Real Steel, In Time, Premium Rush, SWAT, The Debt, The Imitation Game, Dinner for Schmucks, Austin Powers Trilogy, triple feature, Trading Places, Norbit in 48 Hours, Now You See Me, Ghostbusters, Escape Plan, Yellow Rose, Snatch, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Hangover Part 3, Hangover Part 2, Original Hangover, 7 Psychopaths, 127 Hours, Black Hawk Down, The Express, Gone with the Wind, Mission Impossible 4 movie collection. It's the first 4, by the way. Casablanca, Welcome to the Punch, Gods and Generals, Saving Private Ryan, Avatar, the original. I did not pick up Way of Water. I think Way of Water was absolutely atrocious. I have no intentions to watch that a second time. Life of Pi, Battle of the Sexes, Love and Monsters. This is a pretty fun little flick. I recommend it. And Mortal Engines. So you have finishing that pile. Next pile is a very small one. We have The Iron Lady, Cowboys and Aliens, Backdraft, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, pretty good Spielberg flick, Bloodsport and Time Cop double feature, action double feature, Dumb and Dumber and The Mask double feature, Young Guns, The Accountant, really good film, starring Ben Affleck as a character with high-functioning autism, The Aviator, Fargo, Riddick Trilogy, Dark Tower, Green Mile, Forrest Gump double feature, Triple X, pretty good film, starring Vin Diesel, and Red Tails. Let's see what else we have. Let's move on to the next pile. We have Over the Top, Last Duel, one of my favorite Ridley Scott films. This came out recently. Charlie St. Cloud, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Cool Hand Luke, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Won't You Be Mine, Seabiscuit, Sex Tape, Casino, $1 Million Baby, Best Friends. This was signed by Greg Sestero. By the way, shout out to Greg Sestero, who you may know as Mark in the room. Oh, hi, Mark. Actually, by the way, look what he wrote. Oh, hi, Jack. It's pretty cool. Really nice guy, by the way. Pretty chill. Speaking of Greg Sestero and The Room, The Disaster Artist. It's probably my top 5 A24 films. It's up there with Everything Everywhere All at Once for me. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, or Lara Croft, I don't even know. I say Lara Croft. This is, by the way, this is a 2-movie collection. This has the Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and it has The Cradle of Life as well. The Way Back, excellent film starring Ben Affleck as a basketball coach. The Rookie, I, Tonya. I checked this out for the first time recently. Margot Robbie is great in it. Polar Express. It's one of the weirdest Christmas movies. It's a fun visual trip. Not a great story. Not a great narrative. The Misfits. American Graffiti. Super 8. The Natural. Widows. Colossal. One of the best monster movies of all time. Focus. A Simple Favor. Marriage Story. Oh, and it's actually stuck to my next entry, The Old Man and the Gun. Last Night in Soho, one of Edgar Wright's recent flicks. This is actually, I think, his most recent one. Excellent movie. I might watch it in a future Halloween or so. We'll see what happens. To Kill a Mockingbird, starring Gregory Peck. The Adjustment Bureau. The King of Staten Island, pretty fun comedy, starring Pete Davidson. Inherent Vice. The Master. And Phantom Thread. Next pile, we have Hackers, starring Angelina Jolie. We have Blue Jasmine. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Steven Spielberg flick incoming. War Horse. We have Hancock. This is not the English edition. I don't remember what country this is from. I don't know, maybe Holland? I have no idea. Still in the wrap, by the way. They Live. Wolf of Wall Street. Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Probably the weakest of the Indiana Jones films. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I thought this was pretty fun at times. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Pretty good little movie. By the way, I didn't mention it already. Last Crusade is probably my favorite of the Indiana Jones flicks. I think it's the best action sequences, the best climax. Really well done flick. Sean Connery's great in it too. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2. It Follows. Pretty creepy horror movie. Hacksaw Ridge. Halloween 2. Scream Factory Edition. Lawrence of Arabia. Almost Famous. Easy Rider. Stripes. King Kong vs. Godzilla. A Quiet Place. We have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Zombieland Double Tap. I think this one's better than the original. Just going to say that right now. I don't know how many of you actually agree with me. Secret Life of Walter Mitty Digibook. Red Sparrow. This has some good moments in it. Jennifer Lawrence is excellent in this film, by the way. Sonic the Hedgehog. Unfortunately, it is one of the better video game movies that has come out in the history of the genre. There are not that many good video game to screen adaptations, whether it's film or television. I am trying to get into The Last of Us. I did watch the first episode. It was pretty good. 7, Flatliners. I watched that in Halloween 2022. It's pretty good. Con Air. Homefronts and End of Watch double feature. Salt. Wanted. Iron Giants. The Babadook. I'm basically just going through 2 piles at once at this point. The Siege. Charlie's Angels. Thelma and Louise. Ready Player One. This is the Target exclusive with the lenticular slip. Excellent movie, by the way. Also from Spielberg. Honestly, it's one of my favorite films from him. Terminator Dark Fate. You have Do the Right Thing. Target exclusive. Up next is Field of Dreams. Psycho. New Mutants. Gran Torino. I got this at a CVS store in Boston. Desperado. It, with a pretty cool slipcover. Blade Runner 2049, one of the best science fiction flicks I've ever seen. The original Blade Runner, I just reviewed this on Steam before recently. I decided to review the original cut because that's just what I usually do when it comes to movies. I just usually review whatever version was the theatrical release. That said, I usually watch the final cut of the film, and it is chef's kiss. Ex Machina, really good film, directed by Alex Garland. Annihilation, speaking of Alex Garland, pretty good film as well. First Man, Pacific Rim, Ender's Game, Transformers Dark of the Moon, The Martian, Apollo 13, Gravity, Jupiter Ascending, Cloud Atlas, Alita Battle Angel, Life, Arrival. By the way, excellent film directed by Denis Villeneuve. Moving on to Godzilla, the original. Moving on to Body of Lies. One of Ridley Scott's weaker flicks, if you ask me. Braveheart. We have The Trial. Dreams, directed by Kurosawa. Triangle of Sadness. Bridge on the River Kwai. Coming to America. Pretty in Pink. Wizard of Oz. Men in Black trilogy. Back to the Future trilogy. Lock and Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Deadpool. Oh, jeez. I've had a lot of bloopers. A lot more than I thought today. Deadpool 2. By the way, got a couple signatures on it. Yeah, a couple. I got Colossus on top, and I got Marina Baccarin's signature on the bottom. Pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. Up next, we have Wreck-It Ralph. Home Alone, one of the best Christmas movies ever made. It's a Wonderful Life. Lawless. Airplane. How to Train Your Dragon 2. Vertigo. Rear Window. Shawshank Redemption, excellent film. Also shot by Roger Deakins. So what is this one? Is this Unbreakable? Yeah, it's Unbreakable. Unbreakable. Pretty cool cover. I like the cover art. Spartacus. Doctor Strangelove. The Hunt for Red October. Labyrinth. Chappie. Boys in the Hood. We have Dracula. The Wolfman. Frankenstein. We have Nope. V for Vendetta. Up next we have The Batman on Steelbook. Speaking of Batman, we have the Dark Knight trilogy. Alright, so let's move on to the next pile. We have Brave. What's this? Titanic. Silver Linings Playbook. Daniel Craig James Bond collection includes all the Daniel Craig Bond films except for No Time to Die. Yeah, everything except No Time to Die. Maze Runner. The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. Pretty good documentary about product placement. Jack and Jill. Terrible movie. Memories of Murder. Room. Excellent movie with a brilliant performance by Brie Larson. And Jacob Tremblay is excellent in it as well. Hunger Games, the original. Hunger Games 2, Catching Fire. Mockingjay Part 1. All About Eve. Quiet Place Part 2. Moonrise Kingdom. Last Action Hero. Respect. Joyride, really good comedy. Probably my favorite comedy of the year, if I had to think about it. Either this or Bottoms, or unless there's one I'm missing. Really good movie with a pretty entertaining cast. Jojo Rabbit, LA Story, Summerland. I know a lot of you have probably not even heard of this film. Look it up, watch it sometime. It is excellent. Gemma Arterton's a lead in it. It's glorious. I recommend it. Enough said. Pretty cute movie. The Blind Side. Chef. Excellent film. Unknown. Love Me or Leave Me. This is Waterloo Bridge. Footloose. The Sandlot. One of my favorite sports movies of all time, by the way. Oz the Great and Powerful. Talladega Nights. Gloria Bell. I just watched this recently. I liked it very much. Julianne Moore's really good in it. Drinking Buddies. It's got some pretty decent characters in it. I liked like the entire cast is involved. They did a really good job in it. Absolute Power. Lamborghini. I tried this film last year. Could have been better. The Bling Ring. Little Monsters. I just watched this film over Halloween. This is not my first time watching it. My first time watching it was in 2010, and my mom, I don't know if my dad was concerned. My mom was concerned that I was watching something I shouldn't be watching. This is a pretty entertaining film, even if it's kind of demented. It's kind of crazy. Howie Mandel is excellent in it. It's Maurice. He commits to that role. It's perfect. District 9. No Strings Attached. Chronicle. Swiss Army Man. Speaking of Daniels, Everything Ever All at Once, the best movie of 2022 by a major landslide, and my favorite A24 film as well. Searching, The Boss, Date Night, pretty fun flick. J. Edgar, Milk, The Last Waltz, Parasite on 4K, Used Cars, When Marnie Was There, really good Studio Ghibli flick. Yeah, Studio Ghibli. Haley Steinfeld is a voice in the English dub. She's really good in it. Haley Steinfeld's actually a pretty good voiceover artist between this and her voice work as Gwen in Spider-Verse. I really like her when it comes to that craft. Snakes on a Plane and Crazy Rich Asians. I watched this for the first time recently. I think in the last video that I did with this guy, and I think I explained I just played the slot machine at the casino, which... yeah, I still play it sometimes, but very cute movie. I had a really good time with it. Yeah, it's also beautifully shot. It's surprising how beautiful it looks. Moving on to Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. In the Line of Fire. Mortal Kombat. By the way, I got rid of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, so sorry, you're not going to see me throwing it across the room like I did before. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Stupid. Oh, look at that. It's still... Alright, good. I didn't break it. Anyway, now there's my thoughts on that movie. Mortal Kombat, the 2021 edition. Burn After Reading. In this corner of the world, it's a Japanese flick set during World War II. I thought it was a really well done film. The only thing I will say is I watched the English dub, and I don't know, some of the voice work is kind of stiff, but I don't know. I think I need to go back and watch the Japanese edition. Maybe I'll fully appreciate it. But it's a really well done film. Gold, Beautiful Mind, Red Heat, Coco, Okja, The Graduate, Long Way North, Pearl Harbor, Moon, Moneyball, excellent sports flick, The Lady from Shanghai, Stronger, set during the Boston Marathon bombing. I really love this flick. Jake Gyllenhaal is a tour de force in it. Also, wow. I love this. I really love this movie. This was directed by David Gordon Green, who directed the recent Halloween movies, like Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. I didn't love those movies. I wish he did more movies like this. I did not see his Exorcist movie. I have no plans to. But if he does something like this again, like something of more dramatic flair, less horror-like, I'll probably go see it in the theater at some point. I don't know. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, The Dilemma, American History X, W, Slapshot, Branded to Kill, Paint, starring Owen Wilson, Training Day, Scarface, Role Models, Tully, Everything Must Go, Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence, Still Alice, Operation Fortune. I've been meaning to watch this at some point. I watched the other Guy Ritchie film from this year, The Covenant, which is average. Hope this one's better. Skinamarink. I want to shout out Movie Hunter 2020. If you are watching this, I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel. I have to double check, but I do follow him on Instagram. I got a chance to meet him a month ago, and he gave me this Steelbook for free. He did not have to do that, but I highly appreciate it. I do want to watch the film at some point. Friday the 13th, Snowpiercer, The Fabelmans, one of my favorite films from last year, also a Steven Spielberg film. If the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit. Now get the out of my office. Dodgeball, Army of Darkness, Boyhood, Trainwreck, Eddie the Eagle, Invincible, Babylon. Excellent score, by the way. I thought this was going to win Best Score at the Oscars last year. Turns out it lost to All Quiet on the Western Front. I still have yet to see it. I did buy the 4K, which will probably be shown eventually. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Sorority Row, Blues Brothers. It's a neat little addition. The Jungle Book. This is a limited release according to the slipcover. It's a Disney Movie Club exclusive. Speaking of, I just mentioned this just a couple seconds ago. All Quiet on the Western Front. I need to watch this at some point. Box Trolls, Coraline, Paranorman, Enter the Dragon. Really well done film, and I think the score is really good in it too. Don John. I think I said this before, but this is a film that every single guy needs to watch at least once in their life. Wild, Bad Times at El Royale, Why Him, Wedding Crashers, Hugo, The 7-Year Itch, The Day After Tomorrow, Peanut Butter Falcon. Really cool slipcover, by the way. I really like this. Easter Sunday, terrible comedy starring Joe Coy. He's coming to Mohegan Sun, which is a casino 2 hours away from where I live. I might go see him there, but as far as I'm concerned, that movie is bloody terrible. Every time he said his commercial catchphrase, I wanted to roll my eyes. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, pretty good little comedy starring Nicolas Cage. Live by Night, Apocalypto, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Nightcrawler, Steady Hands, The American, Longest Ride, Missing Link, Roma on Criterion, 1917. Excellent film, also shot by Roger Deakins. Designed to look like it was all done in one shot, but it was just a series of long takes. Really well done. Murder on the Orient Express is the only Kenneth Branagh directed Benoit Blanc film I have yet to watch. I watched the other two, Death on the Nile and Haunting in Venice. Both I liked Death on the Nile to some degree. Haunting in Venice was just bad. It was terrible. This I have yet to watch, and having seen Haunting in Venice, I am not as motivated to watch this film now, but we'll see. The Danish Girl, Maggie, The Maltese Falcon, The Watch, Need for Speed, The Menu. Excellent movie, by the way. Anya Taylor-Joy is great in it. Nicholas Hoult is great in it. Why am I forgetting his name? Ray Fiennes is God tier in it. He's awesome in it. It's actually quite bad. Akira, I tried this movie. Wasn't for me. Maybe I'll watch it again at some point just to see if I like it more. Frost Nixon. This is a pretty cool little movie. I liked it when I watched it over the past year. Tropic Thunder. Puss in Boots 2, The Last Wish. This was so much better than it any right being. This was such an awesome time at the movies. I saw this at an early screening, like a press screening of sorts, last December. Oh my god, this was awesome. I think it's better than any of the Shrek movies. I'm gonna go that far. John Mulaney as Big Jack Horner is to die for. It's perfect. Speaking of Puss in Boots, we have the original Puss in Boots. Serviceable. It's above average. I wouldn't stray away from watching it again, but it's very rushed. It's just, there's just enough material for it to be a feature film, and I feel like they could have done a lot more with it. Shrek 2. Of the Shrek movies, this one's my favorite. By the way, great cover song of Holding Out for a Hero. Shrek the original, 20th anniversary edition. My friend Nick gave me this. Thank you very much. Hot Tub Time Machine. I watched that for the first time recently. Pretty good little film. The Mitchells vs. the Machines. One of the best animated films of the decade so far. Safe House. Ride Along. I used to have Ride Along too, but I got rid of it. Long Day's Journey into Night. Jumper. The Neon Demon. I watched this once on Amazon. It was not bad. I thought I might own it at some point. Waterworld, No Country for Old Men, Becky, pretty good movie. Also, Kevin James is in it, and it's a very different performance from him. It's not bad or anything. It's actually great. It might be his best work, acting-wise, I should say. I still love King of Queens, so there's that. Silence, Robin Hood, Soul Surfer, My Week with Marilyn, Brick, Fiddler on the Roof, Election. I watched this not recently. I watched this over a year ago. I think the first 2/3 of the movie are excellent. As we get to the end, I'm less fond of it, but it has its moments. Reese Witherspoon's excellent in it, by the way. Act of Valor, Rampage, let's forget about that one. La La Land. Up next we have, as once again, one of my favorite movies, my favorite movie of the decade, Belle. This is the 4K collector's set that I thought this was like a G-Kids exclusive or something for a little bit when I pre-ordered it. Turns out they're selling it everywhere. I've already explained enough about this movie, but once again, if you have not seen it, I mean, I know anime is not for everyone. Animation is not for everyone. But my God, I was in love with this movie ever since the moment I saw it. I highly recommend it. Speaking of the same director, Mamoru Hosoda, Your Eye. This might be his weakest film, by the way. Pretty good movie, but it's like Christopher Nolan. His weakest film is still pretty good. The Boy and the Beast. I really like this movie. Wolf Children. I actually have yet to see this one. This is the only one of his non-franchise films. I know he did a Digimon movie that I haven't seen. Summer Wars. This was an excellent flick, by the way. I highly recommend this one. In fact, I've only watched the English dub. I want to get around to watching the Japanese edition because the guy who does the voice of the main character in it, I think he's also the lead in Godzilla Minus One. I think I just found that out the other day. So, I don't know. That was pretty cool to me. Let's see. The Girl Who Left Through Time. This is one of, I remember hosted this earlier flicks. Really well done movie. Your Name. Excellent flick from the 2010s. One of the best of the decade, by the way. Ghost in the Shell, the original. I already showed the sequel. Now we have the original. Howl's Moving Castle. One of the better Miyazaki flicks. Also, a really good Miyazaki flick. Spirited Away. My Neighbor Totoro. This is my first Miyazaki film. Actually, Howl's Moving Castle was, technically, because I watched that several years ago, like a decade ago, basically. But it took me a while to realize what the movie was called. But this was the first one I watched at home, basically. It was not bad. I liked it. It was cute. That's the best way to describe it. Princess Mononoke had its moments. Weathering with You, really good movie. It's kind of like Your Name, but with the controlling the weather aspect. I thought the characters were really good in it. I thought the voice performances, at least the English version, were really good in it. I got to hear the Japanese voice cast as well in the bonus features, so got a little bit of a perspective there. The Place Promised in Our Early Days. The Deer King, I watched this last year. Had some pretty good moments, I guess. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is the collector's edition. The Hobbit trilogy on Steelbook. I'll show you the Steelbooks right here. Go close up for that. You can see reflection. Here we are. Knock at the Cabin. That just came out this year. Hustlers. Species. This is a pretty good B movie. It's kind of ridiculous at times, but it has a pretty good cast in it. Yeah, it's not Shakespeare, but everyone does a good job in it. The Banshees of Inisherin. This is a really cool concept. Very simple concept, but it's done very well. The performances are excellent. Grand Piano. I will tell you, first off, this is signed by Elijah Wood, so thank you to Elijah Wood for signing this at Comic-Con for me. When I do my reviews now, one of the things I often do is I'll listen to music. Like when I'm searching up images to put in the reviews, or I'm just typing away, I will often use the music from this film to keep me going. Honestly, it is one of the best film scores I have ever heard. By the way, written by Damien Chazelle. A lot of you might know him from Whiplash, La La Land, First Man, Babylon, those films. Before he did those, he wrote Grand Piano. Marvelous little film. I might want to do a Scene Before on it someday. Phantom of the Open. I watched this last year. Pretty cool little flick that celebrates failure. I recommend watching this at some point. This is, Mark Rylance is in this. It's very funny. I recommend it. There Will Be Blood. Top Gun. I upgraded this to 4K. I used to have a metal pack, but I got rid of it. Bumblebee. The Big Short. Whiplash. Another upgrade. I used to have the Blu-ray, but I just found the 4K recently. So that's another one. Shutter Island. Life is Beautiful. Very sad flick, but I think it is one that every film fan should watch at some point in their lives. It is an excellent film. Grand Prix. Australia. Nocturnal Animals. Your Highness. Atomic Blonde. 4K edition. Really cool stair scene, by the way. Ava. Fun action flick. Blades of Glory. The Simpsons movie. Taken. One of the better Liam Neeson flicks. I used to have Taken 2 and 3, but I got rid of those. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Color Out of Space. Superman the Movie. Kick-Ass. Hercules starring The Rock. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I actually really like this movie. I've heard a lot of discourse on it lately that I guess a lot more people than I initially thought didn't like it. I think it has its moments. I think there's a lot of good humor in it. I like the characters in it. That one song, a place called Slaughter Race, is really good in it. Voice works really good. I like it, personally. I had a good time with it. Fantastic Mr. Fox, Grand Budapest Hotel, Treasure Planet, The Great Gatsby, 42. Moving on to the next pile, we have Wall Street. I just watched this for the first time recently. Unfortunately, it had the same problem that The Force Awakens did, the 4K edition did. Just, there are certain scenes that just wouldn't play. It is a huge copy, so for all I know, it could be the disc. Blood Diamond, Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Blockers. Excellent comedy. I love the entire cast in it. It's a pretty funny film. No Man's Land. Speed. Annapolis. Hurt Locker. The Girl Can't Help It. There's Something About Mary. We got a bleeder! Ray. Zero Dark 30. Next we have Predator. And Predator 2. Poltergeist. The Fifth Element. Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets. Air Force One. The Fugitive. The Goonies. I actually got this at the Newbury Comics. It's still in the wrap, but I don't know. I guess the employees here like to have some fun with the stickers sometimes. Because it says right here, Goonies never say die. These little pink stickers, they'll usually like show a price on them, but I got this at the Newbury Comics in Manchester, New Hampshire, and they have like these little custom-made stickers, and this is just one of them. I don't know, nice little touch. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. West Side Story. Lethal Weapon quadrilogy of sorts. Yeah, you can say that. Nightmare Alley. Commando. The Usual Suspects. My Cousin Vinny. Zootopia. We're the Millers. Detroit. Knocked Up. Bullet Train. Ridiculous action flick starring Brad Pitt. I thought it was very well done. Yeah, there's a lot of good scenes in it. I think it's directed by David Leitch, who also directed Deadpool 2. Very well done. Bleed for This. Goodbye, Don Glees. Pretty fun little film. I had a good time with it. Ready or Not, one of my favorite horror flicks of all time. This is my favorite film of 2019, by the way. Samara Weaving is chef's kiss in it. I thought she's really good in the movie. Her. Kubo and the Two Strings. I used to have it on Blu-ray. I just upgraded to 4K on Steelbook. Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies to be specific. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I didn't like the first Venom, but I did manage to buy Venom 2. Spider-Man No Way Home. This is one of the coolest Steelbooks I've ever seen. Look at this design. This is epic. Also got Doctor Strange on the back. Look at that. Spider-Man Far From Home. Iron Man 3. The original Iron Man. Eternals. Alright, up next we have Black Widow. Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. That was a pretty fun little flick. Sam Raimi's direction is really good in it. And I thought Wanda was a really good villain. Some of the script kind of falters at times, but there are a lot of good moments in the movie. I do recommend it. Thor Love and Thunder. It's a step down from Thor Ragnarok, but I thought there were some good moments in it. Shang-Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings. Target Edition. Speaking of Target Editions, Avengers Infinity War, my favorite of the MCU movies. Captain Marvel. Target Edition. Also the Target Edition of Avengers Endgame. I mean, even if you've never watched any of the MCU movies, I think Endgame is an essential viewing, but it's probably going to be a lot better if you watch the other movies. That said, I recommend it. The Hallowing, Past Lives. This is a film I've been meaning to get around to at some point. I wanted to watch in the theater, but I just never got around to it. Casanova. Next we have 500 Days of Summer. So much of FYE pickups that I got recently. The Theory of Everything. Youth in Revolt. The Great Buck Howard. $1 Million Arm. 30 Minutes or Less. Are You Here? Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole. Mars Attacks. Frequency. In a World. Or as I personally like to say, as I personally like to describe it, In a World. Big Eyes. An Affair to Remember. Disconnect, Asteroid City, one of the films I've been meaning to get around to this year that I just haven't got around to yet. The Trouble with Harry, Rashomon, that's a Kurosawa film. Actually, I got it used in Newbury Comics for like $15. Not a bad little price. Tokyo Drifter, another Hughes copy of a Criterion. I got this for $12 at Newbury Comics. Exporting Raymond. This is a pretty cool concept for a film. I've yet to see the film, but basically, Phil Rosenthal, the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, he took the idea and tried to adapt it in Russia. I want to sit down and watch that at some point. It sounds awesome. Moving on to The House, starring Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell. Lego Batman movie. Massively underrated comic book flick. The Birds. Leon the Professional. Goodfellas. Unforgiven. Prisoners. Ouija and Ouija 2. Argo. This is a signed copy. Clerks 2 and Zack and Miri, signed by Kevin Smith. And it has authenticity on the back. Clerks 1. Looper. Probably, really good film from Rian Johnson. Castaway. Lego Movie 2, the second part. Lego Movie 1. Alien Quadrilogy. AVP, Alien vs. Predator. AVP, Requiem. Prometheus. Alien Covenant. A Million Ways to Die in the West. Good Will Hunting. Gone Baby Gone. The Town. The Departed. The Hobbit in 3D. This is The Unexpected Journey. Destination of Smaug the Hobbits. Battle of the Five Armies. Social Network. Non-Stop. Run All Night. Gremlins double feature. Jurassic World in 3D. Jurassic Park 3. Lost World Jurassic Park. The best Jurassic Park movie by a landslide. The original Jurassic Park. All I have for you is a word. Tenet. Dunkirk. My favorite movie of all time. Interstellar. Followed by another copy of Interstellar. Inception, my second favorite of Christopher Nolan's movies. The Prestige. Insomnia. Much like I said with Hostada earlier, this is the weakest title in Nolan's library, but it's still a pretty good movie. At least to me. Memento. Also, we have Following, which I wonder if this is actually the weakest title in this library. I only watched it once. I saw Insomnia twice. I probably have to go back and watch both of them to see which one I like better, but this is also one of the weaker titles. But to be fair, it is his first film, so you can only go up from there. Safe, Impractical Jokers, the movie. I had a pretty good time with this film. The Muppets, 2011. Beverly Hills Cop. Up next we have Aladdin, the animated version. Lion King. Pulp Fiction, signed by Phil Lamar, Jackie Brown. Kill Bill, double feature. Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is my other copy, the one I use for watching purposes. The other one's just a collector's item. Us, Get Out. Probably, I think this might be the best flick from Jordan Peele. Us would be number 2, which means Nope is number 3. I like all of them, but I think Us is, Get Out is the best one. Cars, the original. Cars 2, which I actually like more than most people. I also have Cars 3, which I thought was decent, I guess. Bill and Ted 1 and 2, double feature. Bill and Ted 3, Bill and Ted Face the Music. John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. We're getting kind of on a Keanu kick here. John Wick Chapter 2, and the original John Wick. Night at the Museum. Night in the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. I have come back to life. Night at the Museum 3, Secret of the Tomb. Next we have Lone Survivor, Patriots Day, another Boston Marathon bombing movie. This one's starring Mark Wahlberg. Sicario, Day of the Soldado. Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. Boondock Saints 1, Ted 2, Ted. Sorry, I was sending a tweet. Transporter, Transporter 2, Transporter 3, Transporter Refueled. Conjuring 1 and 2, Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, Curse of La Llorona, Point Break, the remake. Well, at least we're getting that out of the way. But we have the first Point Break, which I do plan to upgrade this. They just came out with the 4K edition. I don't know if it's just a steelbook. I know they released a Best Buy steelbook for it, but I don't know if they have a regular 4K slip. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. But this is one of the Best action movies I've seen, directed by Catherine Bigelow. Stars Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. Really well done film with a great protagonist, antagonist. Roadhouse, Dirty Dancing, Underworld, Underworld Evolution, Underworld Rise of the Lycans. I used to have the last two Underworld movies, but I got rid of them. Equalizer, Equalizer 2, 21 Jump Street, I should say. This is 22 Jump Street. Divergent, Insurgent, Chaos in the Bank Job, Crank and Crank 2 High Voltage, Godzilla 2014, Godzilla... Whoa! Something happened to the slipcover here. I don't know how that happened. It's fixed now, apparently, but this was kind of sealed open. I don't know how that happened. I gotta seal that shut. Okay. Anyway, Godzilla vs. Kong. The joys of making a Blu-ray collection video. We're almost there. We're almost to the end. Kong Skull Island, King Kong Ultimate Edition, Edward Scissorhands, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, triple feature of Tim Burton films, Beetlejuice, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride. By the way, Beetlejuice 2 was shooting right near my house, like 5 minutes away. That's pretty cool. Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, 4 film favorites, Joker, Kung Fu Panda, There Is Now a Level 0, Kung Fu Panda 2, Kung Fu Panda 3, Paddington, Paddington 2, Tron Legacy, the original Tron, Kingsman the Golden Circle, Kingsman the Secret Service, Weird Science, pretty good John Hughes flick, Breakfast Club, overrated John Hughes flick if you ask me, Great Outdoors, Sucker Punch, Style Over Substance, 300, pretty good movie, and finally 300, Rise of an Empire. That completes the collection for yet another Blu-ray collection video. I do not know how long this video has been going on for because I split into multiple parts, but let's just say it's been an eternity. That should be everything. I hope I didn't forget something. Maybe I won't buy anything this time since I finished this portion of the video. But yeah, that should be everything for this edition of the Blu-ray movie collection update. Keep in mind, I do own a couple TV shows on Blu-ray, but I decided not to include those. Just personal preference. Yeah, this was a fun video to do this time of year. This is actually really cool because I've been looking to sell a couple movies, but I've held off on a lot of them because I wanted to save them for this video just to show them off. But now that I did, I just probably gonna get rid of those titles. I got to show off a lot of new titles I bought, a lot of old titles as well. Some of my favorite movies, some movies that suck, because you got to show some bad movies, some love too. But so yeah, this is great. For those of you who follow me on flicknerd.com, thank you very much for tuning in to 700 posts and counting. I have more reviews coming. For those of you watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. Do the obligatory thing. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.